150 million years ago, long before Tyrannosaurus ruled North America, another tyrant was already roaming the scorching plains of the American West. Its name means different lizard, Allosaurus. We are at the end of the late Jurassic. The supercontinent Pangaea is slowly breaking apart. The plains that would one day become Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming were then a semi-arid savanna crossed by braided rivers and dotted with conifer forests and tree ferns. It is in this vast theater that Allosaurus fragilis reigned, the dominant predator of its ecosystem. For nearly 10 million years, it occupied the top of the food chain. Contrary to the image often associated with giant, sluggish dinosaurs, Allosaurus was a hunting machine, agile, fast, and remarkably intelligent for its time. It shared its territory with the most iconic creatures of the Jurassic, titanic sauropods such as Diplodocus, Brachiosaurus, and Camarasaurus, and armored herbivores like Stegosaurus. This world, now frozen in stone under the name Morrison Formation, is one of the richest fossil deposits ever discovered. It offers us an exceptional window into the life and death of one of the greatest hunters the Earth has ever known. In this documentary, we will dive into the anatomy, behavior, and ecosystem of Allosaurus to understand why this predator dominated its era and what its extinction still teaches us today.
The scientific story of Allosaurus begins in 1877 in the midst of the Bone Wars, the fierce rivalry between American paleontologists Othniel Charles Marsh and Edward Drinker Cope. That year, Marsh officially described and named Allosaurus fragilis from fragmentary bones discovered in Colorado. The name fragilis refers to the surprising lightness of its vertebrae, hollowed out with cavities that reduce the skeleton's weight without sacrificing strength, an ingenious piece of biological engineering echoed today in the design of modern bridges. This exceptionally well-preserved specimen revealed not only the animal's precise anatomy, but also evidence of multiple injuries and pathologies suffered during its lifetime, fractures, bone infections, and a life clearly marked by violence and survival. Big Al became a true star of paleontology. His skeleton, along with that of a second individual, Big Al II, discovered in 1996, allowed scientists to reconstruct with unprecedented accuracy the biology, growth, and even possible social behaviors of this species. Today, more than 60 Allosaurus skeletons have been unearthed, primarily in the Morrison Formation, making it one of the best documented theropods in the history of paleontology. One site in particular, the Cleveland Lloyd Quarry in Utah, has yielded the remains of at least 46 individuals, a geological mystery that continues to fuel scientific debate to this day.
Allosaurus fragilis measured on average between 8.5 and 9.7 meters in length, with an estimated weight between 1.7 and 2.3 tons, though some exceptional specimens may have reached close to 12 meters. It stood on two powerful hind legs, its body held horizontally, with the heavy tail serving as the perfect counterbalance to its massive head. Its overall silhouette evokes that of a classic theropod, yet several traits set it apart. Above its eyes, two small bony ridges, almost like rudimentary horns, adorned its skull. Their function remains debated: courtship display, individual recognition, or simple ornamentation. Its skin, known from fossilized impressions associated with specimens of the genus, appears to have been covered in non-overlapping scales arranged in an irregular mosaic with no visible plumage, unlike certain later theropods more closely related to birds. The skeleton of Allosaurus reveals an architecture optimized for speed and power. Its hollow, pneumatic vertebrae greatly reduced its overall weight. A system of air sacs similar to that of modern birds
which also improved respiratory efficiency, a considerable advantage for an active hunter. Its long, muscular hind limbs suggest a running capacity estimated between 30 and 55 kilometers per hour over short distances, enough to overtake most of its prey in a decisive sprint. Allosaurus was not a sluggish colossus. It was an athlete, built for rapid hunting and ambush. The skull of Allosaurus is one of the most studied in all of dinosaur paleontology, and for good reason. Its jaw operated according to a biomechanical principle unique among large theropods. Unlike Tyrannosaurus, whose bite relied on colossal brute force capable of crushing bone, Allosaurus possessed a relatively modest bite force, estimated between 3,400 and 8,000 newtons depending on the study, far lower than that of the Tyrant King. But nature had equipped this predator with a weapon just as formidable, though radically different. Its skull, lightweight yet reinforced with internal hinges, allowed it to open its jaws more than 90 degrees and thrust the upper jaw downward and forward, a movement almost unique in the animal kingdom. Combined with its extremely powerful neck muscles, this mechanism literally transformed its skull into a butcher's axe. Rather than biting and crushing like a crocodile, Allosaurus struck its prey from above in a rapid slicing motion, opening deep lacerating wounds with its curved serrated teeth like saw blades. This technique, which paleontologists call slash and tear, enabled it to inflict massive, hemorrhaging injuries without needing to completely immobilize its prey in a fatal grip. This strategy was particularly effective against very large prey, such as sauropods, where a single paralyzing bite was impossible, but repeated attacks, like blows of a hatchet, could exhaust and weaken an animal far more massive than the predator itself.
While the jaws of Allosaurus captured most of the attention, its forelimbs formed a second line of attack just as deadly, often underestimated. Unlike the stunted, almost vestigial forearms of Tyrannosaurus, the arms of Allosaurus were short but powerfully muscled, ending in 3 fingers armed with curved claws that could reach up to 25 centimeters along their arc. These claws were not mere ornaments. Their hook-like shape and sharpness made them perfectly suited for gripping, slashing, and restraining struggling prey. Biomechanical studies suggest that Allosaurus used its arms in strategic combination with its bite. The claws secured the prey firmly, limiting its ability to escape, while the head, driven by a muscular neck, delivered repeated slashing strikes with the jaws. This synergy between arms and jaws clearly distinguished Allosaurus from later large theropods like Tyrannosaurus, which relied on a single devastating bite. Here, hunting resembled more of a prolonged close-quarters battle, a violent dance in which the prey was seized, slashed, weakened by blood loss, and finally dispatched. Some researchers compare this hunting style to that of a giant raptor, talons to grip, and a beak, or in this case jaws, to tear apart. A fearsomely effective predatory strategy forged by millions of years of evolution in a world where prey themselves were constantly developing new defenses.
To understand Allosaurus, one must understand the world in which it lived, the Morrison Formation. This vast geological sequence, which today stretches over more than 1 million square kilometers across Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, and several neighboring states, was deposited between 157 and 148 million years ago, at the very end of the Jurassic. At that time, the climate was generally warm and seasonal, alternating between wet periods that favored lush vegetation along rivers and long, dry seasons that turned the plains into dusty savannas. In many ways, this landscape resembled modern African savannas, but populated by creatures on an almost unimaginable scale. Along the braided waterways grew ferns, giant horsetails, and ancestral conifers such as araucarias. Further from the wetlands, vegetation became sparse, giving way to semi-arid expanses where only the most resilient plants survived. It was within this contrasting environment that an extraordinary biodiversity thrived. Giant sauropods such as Diplodocus, Brachiosaurus, Camarasaurus, and Apatosaurus roamed the plains in herds, browsing the canopy at dizzying heights. Armored herbivores like Stegosaurus moved closer to the ground, protected by their dorsal plates and their fearsome spiked tail, the thagomizer. Allosaurus reigned at the top of this food chain, but it was not alone. Other predators, smaller yet equally dangerous, shared this territory, each occupying a distinct ecological niche in a fragile balance constantly reshaped by competition and survival.
To understand Allosaurus, one must understand the world in which it lived, the Morrison Formation. This vast geological sequence, which today stretches over more than 1 million square kilometers across Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, and several neighboring states, was deposited between 157 and 148 million years ago, at the very end of the Jurassic. At that time, the climate was generally warm and seasonal, alternating between wet periods that favored lush vegetation along rivers and long, dry seasons that turned the plains into dusty savannas. In many ways, this landscape resembled modern African savannas, but populated by creatures on an almost unimaginable scale. Further from the wetlands, vegetation became sparse, giving way to semi-arid expanses where only the most resilient plants survived. It was within this contrasting environment that an extraordinary biodiversity thrived. Giant sauropods such as Diplodocus, Brachiosaurus, Camarasaurus, and Apatosaurus roamed the plains in herds, browsing the canopy at dizzying heights. Armored herbivores like Stegosaurus moved closer to the ground, protected by their dorsal plates and their fearsome spiked tail, the thagomizer. Allosaurus reigned at the top of this food chain, but it was not alone. Other predators, smaller yet equally dangerous, shared this territory, each occupying a distinct ecological niche in a fragile balance constantly reshaped by competition and survival.